Yo, what is up, fam? Agent O here, and as you can see from the footage on your screen, I had the chance to play the Anthem demo over the weekend with the rest of us regular plebes who didn't pre-order the game in order to get early access to the first beta, which was an utter disaster. And while I had a lot of fun and the game showed a lot of potential to be good, hell, it could even be great, it's still too early, in my opinion, to say that this game is going to be like game of the year or the Destiny killer just based off this demo alone. I mean, hell, with the choices Bungie has been making over the course of Destiny's life, they may kill it all by themselves. So anyway, let's talk about the demo itself, the good, like what worked, the bad, things that still need work, and the fugly, things that are so bad that they need not be in the final game because it'll really hurt the gameplay as a whole. So starting off with the good, I want to talk about all the people making comparisons to Destiny. Now, anybody making comparisons to the look of the game or the Javelin classes to the Guardians from Destiny they're justified. I played Destiny a lot and I could see the similarities myself when I was playing. But, people I think are getting a little too up in arms about it, and by those people I kind of mean mostly the Destiny fans, and some of them I've seen have been getting kind of bent out of shape about the comparisons, and they just need to chill out, man. Just sit back. It's not the first time a developer borrowed ideas from another game, nor will it be the last. It happens all the time. I mean, look at all the battle royale games we've got right now that can be played. So it's, borrowing ideas, can be a good thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking an idea and changing it up to get a different take or result out of it, as long as it's changed up enough that, it becomes its own thing. I personally don't see any harm in that. The Javelin classes have taken gameplay elements from the Guardian classes, and they kind of mixed and matched a few of the abilities. Like I mainly only played as the Ranger and the Storm, and as I was playing with the Storm class, that Javelin feels closest to Destiny's Warlock class. They're using the elements like the Stormcaller class did. Their jump is a lot more floaty. They hover a lot like the Sunsinger class with the Warlocks, when you had a perk where you could jump up in the air and just float there for a while and shoot down at enemies. So yeah, it definitely feels like they took what worked with that class and kind of applied it to this class and then changed things up a bit. The Interceptor class feels closest to like the Hunter class, but it's just got a way more of a focus on melee, and I don't really see any issues with that personally. I think they're different enough to me that they kind of are their own thing, and that'll really show, I think, when the full game is released and we have access to be able to obtain everything in all the different classes. But moving on to movement and shooting, I thought the shooting was it felt very easy in terms of like precision aiming. Other games, I'm not that great at precision aiming, and this one I didn't do too bad. I felt a lot better, and with more playtime, I think I could get really good at making sure I hit headshots in critical areas on the enemies. The guns didn't feel overly crazy, or they have exaggerated kickback like other games where they're trying way too hard to be realistic. And it kind of makes sense for this game. I mean, you're running around in a mech suit and you're firing guns, and so those guns shouldn't have crazy kickback because the suit is supposed to enhance your strength and your stability and all that. So the suit should be able to compensate for the kickback and the directions that some guns like to pull in when you fire the trigger. So I didn't feel like that was a big deal. Like, I ran around lugging 2 LMGs and was able to shoot like rather easily with them. So I dig that. I don't think it has to be I don't think it has to be like Call of Duty realistic with the guns and whatnot. And anyway, guns in games aren't realistic at all anyhow, but whatever, this is a game. So I also really dug the flying in the game. I know a lot of people are going to say that, but it is actually pretty fun. It feels naturally simple. It's pretty intuitive without the controls being like overly sensitive. I wish there was a way to recover when you hit a wall or something instead of just falling straight to the ground. That's the only thing I wish they would work on with that. And I also wish you could stay airborne longer, because the game world that you play in, the sandbox, is actually pretty big, and it kind of sucks when you have to stop periodically to wait for your jets to cool down, or make sure you fly over an area that has water over it to kind of prolong the overheating status of your jets. But I've heard somewhere that that's supposed to be a skill tree in and of itself. So I guess you'll be able to enhance that and hopefully extend that grace period of flying even longer, or negate it completely, which would be really cool. But also with the when I was playing the game, I felt the difficulty felt pretty balanced. There's multiple difficulty levels in the game, which is cool. Obviously, the harder the difficulty, the better the loot. It can be like we played the Stronghold on hard. We played it on normal and hard, and we played on hard first, and it can be actually really hard when everyone on your team is kind of running around and we're like disorganized. But when you're actually working together and you're using good communication and you're focus firing on enemy positions instead of everybody going for a free-for-all, maybe we focus on this turret or focus on taking out the snipers first because they were doing the most damage, then it actually felt kind of comparable and balanced. It doesn't feel like in Destiny when you do a Nightfall and they just stack everything against you, and it doesn't, like, sometimes Nightfalls aren't fun in Destiny. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're not. This felt like I felt better than I usually do playing harder stuff in looter shooters. When we were actually like performing combos, I think it even helped add to the feeling of being just completely overwhelmed and underpowered, even though we were all running around with uncommon and common gear at that time. But apart from getting all that sweet loot while playing the game, once again, I think the performing the combo attacks are going to be the bread and butter tactic when you're going through the Stronghold missions, or most missions in general. It felt really good, like when we were figuring out how to coordinate our attacks with our teammates, and then executing those attacks and seeing the high crit numbers come out, especially during the boss battle, which unfortunately I don't have any footage of. I kept getting kicked out. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but moving on to the Javelin customization, I was also impressed with that as well. There were a lot of textures to choose from, and the color wheel to make any color you want. It was actually really nice. Even without having access to unlocking relic parts, which change up the look of your Javelin. They have parts for the head, chest, arms, legs, and whatnot, and so even without being able to unlock a lot of those, I think you can still make some pretty unique looks just with the amount of potential you have with the color combinations. If you have access to all this right from the start of the game, that I think would go a long way to instilling a little good faith, because we all know EA is a little bit on the evil side, and we feel like they're gonna nickel and dime us. But I want to also talk about a couple of bad things that I saw in the game that could easily be fixed by the time the game comes out, and that is enemies and wildlife that would disappear at random while you're engaged with them. Like, I'd be shooting at stuff like at a turret or at like some kind of wolf-looking creature, and then they would just disappear. It could have just been an issue with the demo. It's one of those things I'm not sure. I'm not a developer at all, so I'm not gonna like make any kind of educated guesses as to what the problem was. I did notice though that it happened more often while I was in free play mode than anywhere else. And also when I was playing the game, I always was running out of ammo. When I was playing with the range, I know you're supposed to be, the focus of the game is supposed to be on your abilities, but you know, when your abilities are recharging, you still have to be doing damage to the enemies, especially enemies with shields. And so that's when I would rely more on my firearms. And you know, either I wasn't doing enough damage because even some regular enemies feel a bit spongy, or my weapons aren't doing enough, or you know, or they're, I don't know, maybe they could tweak and balance some of that out. But with the ammo, I feel like I should never be running out of ammo ever. They could fix this, I feel, by leaving more ammo pickups. They should have them drop more often, or if instead of picking up 1 or 2 ammo drops to completely refill your ammo reserves, they should just picking up 1 should just completely refill everything. That way I feel like you're not going to be constantly running out of ammo. Because I mean, me and I know some other people I played with, there'd be times where we would be completely out and there'd be nothing on the ground for us to pick up. So yeah, that's got to definitely be fixed. But now I want to move on to the fugly, and this is something I feel like could easily also be fixed by the time the game comes out. But if it's not, that's going to be a problem. And what was happening to me, and I noticed was happening to other people we were playing with, because I wasn't playing with just people here in the States. I was playing with other people in the UK and overseas and stuff, and the server would just randomly kick us out of missions, just outright. Or a couple times when I was playing, the entire game crashed, the demo crashed. And I feel like in this late stage in the development for this game, that these kinds of things shouldn't be happening. You know, there's nothing worse than making a bunch of progress or obtaining loot and weapons and stuff that you grinded hard for, only to possibly lose it when you get kicked out of a mission or your game crashes. I personally reported every single incident that happened when the system prompted me to do so. And I think this is something that they're going to definitely work on and fix before the game gets released. I just if they don't, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble, and a lot of people are going to be pissed off. And that could not bode well for BioWare at all. So overall, in the end, I think the game has promised to be entertaining and fun. I think it's even more so fun when you're playing with friends that are actually good at communicating and working together to kind of come up with plans of attack and whatnot, and coordinating with what loadouts you're going in with, so that you can make best use of the combo system that's in the game. But all that being said, I'm still not completely sold on the game. There's just so much that you don't get to see of the game that I don't feel that I have enough of a grasp of what the game will fully offer when it releases, and that's in like less than a month from now. So plus adding to the fact that both demos so far have had some serious issues with loading times and connectivity, that, you know, kind of makes me wonder that what unwelcome surprises we're gonna get with the full release. That, you know, coupled with EA's price gouging shenanigans with loot boxes and DLC. You know, they're saying that they're going to be, that all the planned like DLC stuff is gonna be cosmetic. So hopefully they stick to that, and hopefully the prices aren't astronomical. But I still just don't feel confident that I'll be purchasing the game day one. I mean, I really want to, but my gut is just telling me to back off and wait. If it was my job, like on YouTube, to cover video games and whatever have you, and I'd definitely pick this up, if only just to tell everyone else how the final product turned out. But that's not my job at the moment, so I'm I'm still kind of a consumer. I'm still a consumer at this point. So I'm going to do my due diligence as a consumer and wait. And just do a wait and see approach for this game. That's pretty much gonna do it for now. If any of you guys played either of the demos, I'd like to hear what you guys have thought about it. So, your opinions and constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. So, hit me up in the comments, and also Hulk smash that like button if you enjoyed the vid. Also hit the subscribe button and click that pesky notification icon so you can stay up on all my new uploads on the channel. I'm on the Book of Faces at Agent Omega Man. Just do a search and I'll pop right up because I'm the only one. So that's going to do it. Until the next vid, I'm Agent O and I'm out. Peace.